Live from Kentucky, it's a big welcome to race fans one and all as we get set to close out October with the High Tide Racing League MFRD Premier Series. My name is Ola Bramble alongside Chris Hannigan. We're bringing you all of racing action from the Quaker State. Chris, it's going to be a wild one here this afternoon. Some 135 laps, 200 miles ready to kick off. It's a track that does not get a lot of love on Green Flag TV, but it's gotten quite a bit of love across a variety of series over the last week or so. And High Tide Racing League ready to pay their own tribute to a racetrack that is no longer present on the NASCAR calendar.
Hey, good evening, y'all. Good evening, race fans. Monday night, yeah, again, it's time for another High Tide Racing League. But yeah, this is great. It's a great track. I mean, it's one of these mile-and-a-half tracks you see in NASCAR quite a bit these days. But to your point, it's not one of the ones that you see utilized a whole lot. So it's got a little different character to it. 1.46 miles, just a handful under a true mile-and-a-half track. Lots of different grooves for racing. You'll see that middle upper lane work its way in as the night goes on. But yeah, lots of racing tonight, and expect lots of pit stops too. I think the Green Flag fuel run's only about 36 to 40 laps, so should be lots of pit stops tonight, lots of tires, and lots of good racing.
We look at the championship standings entering today. Dalton Kilroe with a win at Indianapolis, putting himself as undefeated so far on the Indy Oval. Currently putting himself right now 5 points ahead of Ryan Dees and 6 ahead of third place runner Sean Williams. Michael Thorpe Jr. having a bad run, and Michael Thorpe Jr., of course, losing the points lead after crashing hard with Alex Anderson near the halfway point of the race after Tony Hilbrand's juked out a line. And, well, it was that same maneuver that cost both drivers points in the long run. While Thorpe can bounce back this afternoon with a good run, Hilbrand's cannot. He is all the way down in 18th place. And he's not going to be able to score any points to help his case here this afternoon because he has been parked for a week following that incident. So I think overall, when you take a look at the incident, Thorpe's really come out of this one the winner out of that altercation. He's in a good points position, and now he can try to bounce back. Hilbrand's now going to have one hell of a fight if he wants to make the playoffs at season's end.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll talk about that call for weeks to come with Hilbrand's getting parked down. But yeah, Thorpe's up there. I mean, look at the top four there, Nolan. I mean, 10 points separating the top 4 drivers, 6 races in, getting ready to start round number 7 here. Lots of season to go, but it's a great battle kind of in this early phase of the season. You see the midfield between really, I guess, Shire down there all the way through really, I guess, down there near like Sikorsky and those guys. I mean, they're again, 50 points separating all of them, and it's a very tight battle. It's still really anybody's season to accomplish here. Lots of room for really anybody on the bottom to kind of move their way to the top. Guys on the top can kind of drop their way down to the bottom. But yeah, Kilroe, great job so far. 2 wins on the season. Of course, the only other driver with 2 wins down there in the Yellow Vision car, Mr. Aaron Smith down there in P7. Of course, he's had really kind of an up and down season, wins and then DNF, then wins and DNFs. But really, I mean, that's why you got to run the whole season, right? You got to get to the end, see where your points are when you finish up.
And, of course, qualifying just drawing to a close from the 7th rotation of the High Tide Racing League MF Racing Designs Premier Series. Let's take a rundown of what your starting grid is going to look like when we go racing for 200 miles around Kentucky Speedway. One of the most unique mile-and-a-halves to offer on the NASCAR calendar, ready to rumble to life. Qualifying brought up by Nick Nickerson, starting his race from pole alongside Michael Thorpe Jr. looking to bounce back with a front row start. He's alongside John Osborne along with Benjamin Lacey down in 4th. David Lakey starts in 5th with last week's winner Dalton Kilroe and current points leader down in the number 6 spot. Row 4 is housed by Kevin Foss out of Texas and Dustin Ping for Ping Precision Racing. Michael Keithley out of the Prairie State starts in 9th, and Sam Baumgarten will be down in 10th for TSP Motorsports.
Paul Michalak is going to be down in 11th. Jonathan Canfield 12th. Brian Dees 13th. Matthew Chastain 14th. Scott Shire in 15th. Jason Greenwell 16th. Tanner Marr is going to be on the inside of row 9. Connor Gibson on the outside of row number 9. And 19th place, we're going to have Corey Sherman, Amanda Sherman rounding out the 10th row. That's perfect. Sean Williams on there in 21st. Bob Berry 22nd. Larry Bell 23rd. Michael Ashford 24th. Robert Lucas 25th. And rounding out our 26th car field tonight in Kentucky, it's going to be Nick Osbeck.
Couple of new drivers making appearances this afternoon. Robert Lukens, of course, for Peak Precision Motorsports, is going to be trying to get in with a good run this afternoon. He starts all the way down, though, towards the tail end of this field. And then, of course, you have to look at another driver that we've got with a European last name. This one hailing out of Poland, surprisingly enough, and trying to track down, I know I wrote down his pronunciation somewhere. It's Mikulicek at the moment. And he has started a bit further up the grid as well. He's having a good start for himself down at the number 11 spot. So right where the midfield starts. And all of this is going to take us down to the turns 3 and 4. Real quick here, Chris, your favorites to win this race?
Man, I've been a fan of, I'm actually looking for him. I don't see him in this race. I'll just say Aaron Smith, but I don't see him on the starting grid. I was looking for him on the starting lineup. I don't see him. I got to go with Thorpe Jr. I got to go with Thorpe. I mean, Thorpe's been a guy, he's been exciting all season on that 34 car, still on the outside of the front row. He's my pick tonight. Let's see what he can do.
As always, we're happy that you're joining us for more beautiful racing action on a Monday night. Michael Thorpe Jr. leads us into the Geico restart zone. It's go, go, go from Kentucky. Nickerson leads lap number 1 to green. They're side by side for 6th on back with David Lakey and Dustin Ping in a side by side grudge match as they work their way through turn numbers 1 and 2. Kentucky Speedway, not the widest mile and a half in the world, and this is a track that can bottle up real quick, especially after that reprofiling that came with the 2010s.
Yeah, it's a track's a lot faster than it appears, especially with fresh tires. I mean, right now, like everybody's got fresh grip. These cars got lots of bite in the corners. They're going to have lots of grip, lots of speed. So you want to keep the battles up while you can, get around. You don't have to worry so much about getting that aero wash in the corners. But as these tires start to wear down, you're going to see these cars start to spread out. You want to stretch these things out as far as you can. Remember, the fast repairs are gone in this league, Nolan. They had them a few weeks ago. So many incidents along the way early in the season, the admin said, nope, those are gone. You run what you brought to the track, and once you wreck it, you get on the truck and you go home. So got to take it a lot, tiptoe your way around, give yourself a little bit of room around these other cars. Easy to do, and you got lots of grip. As you see cars sliding in there in between. That's going to be a 35 car of Keithley kind of sliding in there on the inside lane. We got top bunch here getting single file, but as I said, that battle for the lead down the back straightaway.
Michael Thorpe Jr. making that look to the inside of the big red propane Mustang, and immediately the GJ Esports driver to the point from Kentucky Speedway. Thorpe takes the top spot as they now work down the front straightaway. Other drivers are still in these little grudge matches deeper in the pack. You're looking in particular down to the 12 and the 35. You mentioned them getting a little bit crossed up with one another. And even further up the field, Dustin Ping, last week's winner, Dalton Kilroe, embroiled the fight as well for the number 4 spot as they work down the back chute.
Side by side into turn 3. They're going to settle down. It's going to be Ping pulling ahead of Kilroe there. Kilroe, your championship leader right now, is going to tuck into P4 on the racetrack here as he works his way around. And yeah, so you're 5 laps in. You see the field's already stringing out single file here. There's no point in trying to be super duper racy. Side by side here further back, almost touching going in the corner between Bumgarden and Chastain right there. Side by side further behind again with Keithley and Canfield, and Osborne's in the mix as well. All 4 of these cars under a blanket. It's 2 by 2 into turn 3. They're not giving up and going single file yet.
John Osborne, Matthew Chastain, Michael Keithley, Jonathan Canfield, all tucked up line astern. Look at the tie, number 5 Mustang, working the high shelf. He's going to pull clear from the top side. John Osborne up into 8th spot now. Further behind, Keithley and Chastain. Chastain and Baumgarten going at it, double file. Sam Baumgarten, the driver that doesn't have a lot of starts under his belt so far this season, trying to pick up a couple more, and he has currently fought his way into the top 10 through qualifying, and so far there he stays, unable to find a way to ascend through the grid.
Yeah, 35 Keithley looking at trying to take a peek under Bumgarden. But yeah, I mean, so again, you're 8 laps in. It's not too early to start thinking about saving your tires here. I think a lot of these guys are doing that. They're going single file. They're all running that yellow line. A couple guys here running the middle groove, trying to get that second lane established. There's a little bit of speed up there down the straightaway. As you look at Sean Williams, look around the outside of Amanda Sherman here. And they're going to go side by side to turn 3. It looks like Sean's actually going to pull the move off on the outside here, coming off turn 4. That's the first pass I've seen around the outside of the racetrack, so I think that's the place you want to go. It's a little bit faster, but it does save your tires a little bit more, I believe. At least what it did when I used to run NASCAR back in the day on iRacing, so hopefully still the case, but we'll find out. Up front, though, look at this. You got a little battle brew over P3.
3rd, 4th, and 5th have all caught up to the top 2 as well. So you got the top 5 all under a half-second blanket right now. You're on board with Dalton Kilrow, watching the fight between 4th and 3rd. And I think both he and Dustin Ping catching the wall a little bit there, coming off of turn 4. Gotta always be careful of that. As Ping looking for the high side. Lacey still packed up down low. And now Kilrow with the drive. Could he have a look to the inside of the number 7 car as he fights the back straightaway? Nope, gonna give him the bumper down to the turn 3, trying to give him a nudge to get him back up into the fray.
How about Dustin Ping? Started P8 up to P3, consistently working his way up toward the front of the field. Haven't really seen him have a really great season. Having a rough season so far. No top 5s, no wins, but 3 top 3s in his 6 races so far. Excuse me, 3 top 10s in his 6 races so far. So looking to get a good finish here tonight. Got a good start under his belt. Wants to keep it up there as he goes. Slowly crawling his way up toward the front. Again, and at this stage, I mean, if you're someone like Michael Thorpe Jr., you are setting the pace for the rest of the field. I don't think Nickerson, at least from what I've seen, is super aggressive on trying to make a move here. He's just happy settling in, riding in behind Michael Thorpe right now, letting Thorpe kind of set the pace. How much do you want to burn the tires? How much fuel do you want to burn? That's fine. I'll do it too. And then follow each other. That kind of sets the field for the. I mean, it's not a bad play just to run laps. You're early in this race. You're not even a 10th of the way through this long race yet. So let the tires burn off. Slow down. I mean, now, again, though, if the fuel numbers are correct, 36 to 40 laps, we are about a third of the way through that run already. And I don't think you have enough tires to change it every time. So you want to save those tires. You're going to need them all day here today.
You know, this racetrack really is a new quantity. I mean, 3 seasons of competition, and this is the first time that we are seeing the Kentucky Speedway in action with the High Tide Racing League. They have not ever had the chance to use it before, so this is going to be a new one for a lot of drivers in this field. And you can tell a lot of them are kind of poking the feelers out, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't in this early run. We have managed to escape the start of this race under green flag conditions so far. You're tracking John Osborne and Matthew Chastain as they continue to work themselves down to the turn number 1 as the 5 and the 12. Exchanging blows. John Osborne punches his ticket into 8th, but he is about a second back from Kevin Foster, so not a lot of places he can go. How about Paul Mikulicek right now in his rookie debut here at the Kentucky Speedway? He's already made up 5 spots, and he is just shy of the top 5.
Ping's on the back of Dustin Ping. Something happened to Dustin Ping there. Oh, car in the wall, turn 4. I'm trying to pick up who that was. Somebody clobbered the wall out of turn 4. I'm going to go back and try to run that down for you, Noah, unless you got it on race control there. But, yeah, I was just going to say, Dustin Ping was running up there in P4. He lost a position there, actually, to Kilrow. Overtook him somewhere on the track. As you see now, Benjamin Lacey looking awful racy under Nick Nickerson up here for P2.
Yeah, they're getting a little bit hot and heavy under the collar a little bit, and you see a lot of drivers now, in fact, trying to make moves. There's Larry Bell trying to get around the outside of Tanner Marr. That outside lane started to come into play just a little bit more here on this one, and there's Dustin Ping now having to defend against Mikulicek. Yeah, well, the number 77, Penguin RC Racecraft Academy Camaro. Oh, catches the wall down the back straightaway. Don't think that'll impact him too much, but it will scrub off some speed coming down to 3.
I was going back. Looks like Connor Gibson may have been one car that brushed the wall out of turn 4. No real big damage there. Was able to drive on, continue on his way. But yeah, look, get a little racy up front. Again, you know, you're trying to manage tires here. You can go. All these guys can go harder than they are, right? They can go faster than they are. They're trying to save the tires, and you get that pressure from behind. You're like, hey, I'm running a managed race up here. Next thing you know, you got a car about to run you over. You want to go a little faster, but you're like, it's a balance, right? You can't go as fast as you want, or it burns your tires off. Look at this. They're on the outside. Amanda Sherman trying to make the move. Is that Osapek she just passed? Sure is, down there in the 9 car. As they fly into turn number 1 here. But yeah, actually, that's Mikla. I'm sorry, I was looking at the wrong number. The 77 is not the real 77. Got me confused there.
Yeah, some games being played here, it looks like, for some of the drivers. That might be something to look at for the next race. Well, right now, Mikulicek now up into the top 5. And he is now right behind, well, right in front of Dustin Ping and Dalton Kilroy. Ping able to make up another spot as well. Now the big question is, can that 77 car, well, 71 in reality, can he run down the podium? And I think that's going to be a relatively interesting time to see if that's going to be a pass that ever comes to fruition. Right now, he's hovering within half a second of Nickerson. He's not losing time to the top 3, but he's not really gaining any either.
Yeah, I think Mikulicek is going to, and I wonder how much he's burning his tires up. I mean, he's slowly working his way up to the front. I really think the likes of Thorpe and Lacey and Nickerson are all running a managed race right now, trying to save their tires, expecting long green flag runs. And you got Mikulicek there, just hauling through the field. Got to be eating his tires up. So he's got the speed now. Let's check him again in about 20 laps, see which direction he's going, and see if he's managing those tires as well as the guys up front.
Scott Shire sliding backwards. He was just overtaken by Corey Sherman for the TNA Motorsports number 19 Supra around the outside. Jason Greenwell is in the mix as well. Sean Williams stumbling a little bit further back. And then there's that battle we alluded to earlier. Lakey, Robert Lukens, and Larry Bell under a blanket. Lukens also making his first ever high tide race league start here this afternoon. And a car that looks quite familiar. We've seen that paint come out a few times on a couple of different cars over the course of the High Tide Racing League. Lukens will add to that number, and he's trying to get a spot up from David Lakey in the number 84.
Man, Nolan, I'm old enough to remember that car being on the racetrack for real, man. That's the old Harry Gant Skull Bandit machine right there. I remember that car. I used to have the little die cast that used to get from Toys R Us way back in the day. But I'm aging myself, so
I remember Toys R Us. That was a...
You remember Toys R Us?
Yeah, I was old. I'm old enough to remember Toys R Us. We used to have one about an hour away from the house before they closed down. Did the whole company go bankrupt with that, or is it...
I think Amazon put it under. I think it's been a rough going for retailers like that, you know.
That sucks. Toys R Us, that was the stuff. Like, that was the place to be when you were a kid in the early 2000s.
Did you get the Christmas catalog before Christmas each year, where you can go through and pick out like all the toys? Did you ever get that in the mail?
I think I did. I can't remember what year, but I remember it being a thing. Might have been a Sears catalog. Which,
oh man, the Toys R Us catalog was 50 pages.
Oh,
just magical. And you go through, it was for, you go through with a marker and you circle stuff. And your parents were like, I'm not buying you any of that. But the Ford car is
I remember that.
is going under the inside. As you see the 16 of Canfield slowly dropping. Canfield's got a big run off the corner here. Wow, look at that. Not giving up. I thought he was just going to let him go, but no, he had a big run off turn 4. Starting to look a little racy here. 24, so we're about 10 laps into a pit stops. If my pit reporter's correct, 10 laps to green flag pit stops? Oh yes, please.
Now that would likely be a fuel mandated stop, not necessarily tires, because we really haven't been running on these tires for too long by full stints. Remember, there are of course fuel restrictions that go into these race cars that do shorten up those fuel runs quite a bit. And you alluded to the fact that they might not have enough to go the distance. In the SRL Next Gen Cup Series, when they were racing at Kansas just last night, we saw a lot of drivers trying to manage when they took that fuel-only stop. Some took it early, some waited until later, some tried to gamble with it under caution periods. You've got to always be on your toes with those strategies because they could really come right out of left field. You got to always have something in mind. It's good to always have your initial plan in mind for if this race goes green to the end. But when you got 26 cars, that's not necessarily very likely. So it's also really good to have a strategy that you can quickly fall back onto.
Yeah, I mean, you got 4 sets of tires in this race, 135 laps. Do a quick math, divide it by 4. It gives you about, what, 20, 23, 24 laps, something like that. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh my gosh, that's Georgia math. 43, 40 something laps. That's not even radio. 30. That's not 30. So it works out. I don't know. I'm not crew chief. I just drive the car. So, but look at that. Around the outside, the 2 car, Nickerson ringing the wall, getting a massive run down the front straightaway.
Yeah, oh my gosh. He actually backed off there during turn 1. I think he might have tried to set up an over-under, and it didn't pan out.
He was hauling out turn 4 right there. But yeah, the point is you can change tires every pit stop if you want. But you probably want to have one in the bag just in case you need it for the green-white checker at the end. You know what I mean? So it's not maybe you don't want to change them every time, but, you know, if you're taking fuel, like, why not, you know?
Still, a lot of the side-by-side battles that are going on right now are deep in the field. Lakey, Gibson, Bell, Marr, Lukens, all under a blanket. Catching the wall, entering 1 was David Lakey, and that Ignite Camaro with the top shelf. Larry Bell with the front row seat. He's got a driver on the Goodwrench Service number 31 car. He's going to power back around the high side. So Larry Bell making some good speed. Oh, too high up, though, in 3 and 4. That's not going to help his case at all. And he's going to find the fence again off of 4.
Ooh, got the fence hard. That's going to back him up all the way down the straightaway. He's going to get a push there from the 23 of Tanner Marr into turn number 1. I wonder if he did any damage to that car. But, yeah, he got way up the racetrack, up into the loose stuff there, slid him all the way up, couldn't quite get it turned. I think these tires are starting to go, Noah. I know you said it is a fuel-restricted stop. I think it's a fuel-constrained stop, to your point, but these tires are barking. And I think if you're gonna pit, I don't know, man. This is tough. Battle for P5, by the way. John Osborne just sent it under the inside of Dustin Ping. Took the position down the front straightaway. That Tide machine, which, by the way, awesome paint job for that. Just down the front. I don't know if Ping let him go, but that was he passed him down the middle of the front straightaway. Let's see, coming off turn 4, did Ping get the wall?
Yes, he did.
Oh, he did get the wall. That's what happened. I looked up and I saw Osborne just flying under the. I was like, that's kind of odd. So, yeah, I think his tires are starting to go, and that's the trouble spot, turn 4, because that's where the track flattens out. These cars get understeer. They get that push right up against that outside wall. And it doesn't take much to slap the car on the side of that. With no fast queries, it can ruin your night really quick.
At the head of the field, Mike Thorpe Jr. continuing to lead the way. He took the lead on lap 4, and he has led every single lap since, dominating this first run. Benjamin Lacey has now fought his way up to the number 2 spot. And I saw Sean Williams duking it out with Jonathan Canfield just moments ago.
Battles all over the track right now. I think these tires are starting to go. Everybody's trying to figure out when they're going to make the pit stops. Remember, the fuel numbers we have are 36 to 40. So we're working lap 32. So if you're the likes of, let's say, Michael Thorpe Jr. up front, not getting any kind of tow down the straightaways, you're not getting any kind of you're basically running probably more gas than the guys behind. Maybe you come in early. I don't know. Does he say, okay, is he going to set the pace for everyone else? We'll see. But at this stage, you're getting close to that pit stop. It's coming up. Who's going to blink first? Who's going to go in? And are they going to take tires? That's kind of what I want to know. I mean, I think you kind of have to, right? You have to at this early in the race. You don't want to be. There's nothing to gain right now.
My counter to that would be if you want to take the set later in the run and go fuel only now, well, now you're one set of tires up on the rest of the field.
I agree it's there. I wonder how much you'll lose on the run. You know, I mean, the next run you're going to be. I mean, the fastest lap times we've seen in the race right now. If I do some quick maneuvering here on my timing, I mean, they're running 2 seconds slower a lap than what they were on fresh tires. So 15 laps, you're getting lapped. 15 laps into the run, you're going to go a lap down. So I don't know if you can risk it. I really don't. I think you've got to take, if you're that slow, you've got to take the tires. And there he is, first car in the pits. That's going to be Brian Dees dropping out somewhere around the P11, P12 area. He's going to be the first car to blink. And let's see if they all make it on and off pit road clean here, Nolan. And by the way, I did do the math. It's 33 1/4 is the quarter distance for this. So we're there. It's time.
Up on the jacks, Brian Dees taking tires, this time by Michael Thorpe Jr. off and away. Still running with that race lead. Here comes Jason Green. Well, sliding behind is Connor Gibson on a 4-tire lockup coming down to pit road. So pit stops are open. A lot of the drivers that are coming in now, a lot of folks from the back of the field trying to see if they can't get themselves rolling. I think Thorpe putting in the clutch a little bit, trying to save some fuel. But as well as that, some drivers found out, at least at the Gen 7 cars at the Kansas Speedway just last week, they found that putting the clutch can help rotate the car a little bit more because of that weight transfer slamming down to the front end. So it could be interesting to see how drivers look to navigate that as well throughout the latter portions of these runs. Bob Berry's just come to pit road, and a lot of battles still in the midfield.
The car's dropping off here and there. You got to be careful getting on that pit road. It's treacherous. Got to be careful rejoining. That's treacherous as well. But yeah, I mean, at some point, our leader's going to blink here and dive into the pits. And right now, Dustin Ping's in. First one of the top 5 dropping into the pits. He's going to be the first one to come in. Let's see where he rejoins. He should be able to come out ahead, I think, of the likes of like Osborne, Nickerson, because he's going to have fresh tires for a lap. That's 2 seconds on track. This is like an undercut, F1 style right here. That's a big tap. Let's see if he goes up on the jack stands. He's going to take tires? You got to, right? Yeah, there it goes. So he's taking tires. Meanwhile, back on track, your race leader, 34, Michael Thorpe Jr., still clicking laps off here. No one else blinking yet. They got to be getting close here, Nolan.
One of the unique things about this pit road as well, you see how curved it is. It's a very pronounced curve that pit road has here at Kentucky Speedway, and that's really a pit road that no other mile-and-a-half track shares. I think the one that might come closest would be Las Vegas, maybe Chicagoland, but that allows for the trial to be a lot closer to the racing surface because of that. Nick Nickerson locking it up as he gets into pit road. Matthew Chastain in as well. And that presents a very unique challenge. Drivers trying to get onto pit road because it's quite a violent transition. You hit pit road fast here. Amanda Sherman is in. Tanner Mars in. Robert Lukens. They're all into pit road.
Yeah, I'm watching race control to see if Nickerson may have gotten a speeding. He was coming in hot right there, sliding those tires. Nothing's flashed up yet. I think he may be okay. We'll see if he gets it once he gets back on track. But, yeah, everyone else diving in now. Here comes the 77 car. Or it's not really the 77 is. That's the one we got tricked on last time. That's the 71. But so far, no black flags. Everybody's getting pit road okay. Everything looking clean. Ray's leader still has not come in. He's stretching out one more lap, as well as Osborne, Bumgarner, Kilroy, Shire, Canfield. All these guys have yet to pit. Everyone else on pit road.
Here comes Thorpe.
There he is. Lap 41 is going to be the magic number for the race leader. What a good-looking race car, by the way. Love that paint scheme. Ooh, a little battle.
Yeah, Baumgarten's in alongside Kilroy. Scott Shire's in a pit road. Jonathan Canfield comes down to pit road, and I believe that will be everyone. See, these are the last cars coming down to the pits. We're going to get everybody back up onto the lead lap, and with that, we'll get this show back on the road. So the TW... Oh, no! John Osborne misses the box! And he misses it by a huge ton. It's right there on the right rear quarter panel.
What's he doing? Go to your box.
He might not have might not have enough fuel. He may have run out of fuel on pit road and couldn't back up.
Wow, what a heartbreak for John Osborne from the top 5 of the race.
That's a race-ending mistake right there as well. You're not going to recover from that.
Not without 2 or 3 yellows and a handful of lucky dogs. My goodness, he must have been out of gas. Like, to your point, he just couldn't. He couldn't get it there. Wow. That's unfortunate. So let's restack it. Pit stops are over. What do we got? We got Brian Dees up front. Look at this. The 17 Chevrolet is right on board. This is John Osborne coming in. What happened here?
You can already hear that car sputtering. Yeah, that thing is just barely holding life to it.
But then he missed. But he missed his pit stall. So he's
probably
watching.
Didn't realize where it was.
Yeah,
he was focused on Thorpe.
He's focused on the pit limiter. He's focused on everything.
And right there, he just ran out of fuel right there as well.
And then he...
You know, I don't know what to make of that one. I mean, he definitely had time to turn in. He started to turn in, and he just stopped.
Yeah, I don't know. That's unfortunate. End of the race. Well, he's back on track now, but he's yeah, not looking great. So, meanwhile, replay. This is the race leader getting past Nick Nickerson, getting past Brian Dees.
Fresh tires by a good amount as well.
That's what it takes. Those tires are worth it, man. Those things are those tires are addicting. You know what I'm saying? They're fast.
5-lap fresh tires in that one will get Nickerson back into the race lead.
Something special about those tires there on the first, like I said, first 5 laps or so, man. Those things are money. But can you stretch them? It's not even really stretching the tires. It's stretching the fuel. That's what we saw. A race leader got an extra lap out of the deal. He got to lap 41 along with about 4 other cars there, but that also put him, I mean, he's down there in P8 right now. That's how bad those tires are just running long. Put him all the way down to P8, so. All right, long race. He'll get back up there.
7.4 seconds, though, and he's not gaining either. He's only losing more time. This might be Nick's race to lose. He's a guy that knows how to pull off that tire strategy. He has historically had a lot of good wins when it comes to the tires, so we'll see how this is going to pan out. I think Nick has just established himself, though, as the new favorite to win this thing. Justin Ping is behind him. The first driver that is on fresher tires than him is Benjamin Lacey, all the way back, though, in third and 3.3 seconds out. And his tires are only 1 lap fresher than Nick's are.
I mean, yeah, it's early. It's hard to say. You know, we're trying to predict the race strategy down, nearly 80 laps from now. But I don't think Thorpe's out. I mean, Thorpe's still there. He's obviously got more gas in the tank than anybody on track right now. Maybe that'll play a factor later in the race. Who knows? Gives him a shorter pit stop down the road. Who knows? But yeah, I mean, for the guys that pitted, I mean, obviously it's Nickerson and Lacey. They're the 2 up front. Miklajek and Foster are up there as well. Bob Berry down here in P19, running his race, having a good time. Good to see. And yeah, you got everybody kind of spread around the track now. Speaking of old school paint schemes, you recognize that 31 Goodrich there, Nolan? You know where that came from?
I'm insulted you're having to ask me about that. It's the old Dale Earnhardt car. Everybody knows that car.
Not the 31, though. The 3 was. The 31 is a real car, but it wasn't Dale Earnhardt, and it was a Goodrich car.
Really?
Yeah, I was actually at the race. I'm going to date myself. I was actually at the race. That was run by Neil Bonnet. Neil Bonnet in 1993, I'm guessing, at Talladega. He ended up upside down on the tri-oval that race. I remember that. I was there on the end. So, but yeah, that's a good looking race car. It throws back some memories as well. I love these. I love these paint schemes. All these guys are good. They're great. Love them. So, anyway, I digress. Nick Nickerson still running up front. Justin Ping up there now as well. Good.
And Ping, your defending champion, under fire here from Benjamin Lacey for the number 2 spot. You mentioned Dustin Ping, right, and how his season really has not gone according to plan. Oh, he's going to find the wall again, but right now he is running in one of the best positions he has been in all season long so far. That's not good for a defending champion, right? And Dustin Ping, you look at his stats so far, not even one finish within the top 5, as you mentioned, all season long, and only 3 within the top 10 so far, and he's had a DNF as well to boot. So this would be big for him to get some good points on the boards at long last for that 81 car. But even last season, I mean, you look at Dustin Ping's stats compared to some of the other Final Four contenders that you had in that race. And again, not a lot to write home about. I mean, Ping, at the end of the last race, he had 13 top 10s, 6 top 5s. Compare that to Lacey, who had 16 top 10s, 15 top 5s. Kilroe, arguably one of the favorites to win, had 19 top 10s, 11 top 5s, and a win. Lacey himself had 4 wins. Dustin Ping only won one race all season. It was the last one. And I'll be honest, he won that race because of an extremely lucky caution that was able to allow him to jump the entire field to get onto fresh tires under the pits. Everybody else that was on the lead lap had already come down to pit road, and they had to stay out in order to avoid going a lap down. And that 20-lap dash is what won Dustin Ping his championship. So Dustin Ping right now, he's a man that's been running off of a lot of luck. Sometimes it takes skill with a playoff system. Sometimes you just need a little bit of that good luck. And right now, Ping has not had a lot of that in season number 3.
Yeah, but there's something to be said about the sheer, like, I don't know, champions find a way. And that's what I think Ping's doing. You're right. He's only finished in the top 10 3 of the 6 races so far, but somehow he's 6th in the championship. Okay, and that to me, I understand that grind. You ain't got to win all the races. You ain't got to be up front. You ain't got to be flashy and do all that stuff. You just got to have good finishes. And if you can consistently make good decisions on the racetrack, avoid the wrecks, stay out of trouble, you know, back off instead of going for the move, you know, you'll get good finishes, and that over the course of a season will go a long way. And it's clear, even though he hasn't had the finishes this season, it's clear that he has that mentality because, again, 3 top 10s, 6 in the championship. So he knows what he's doing. I've got full confidence he'll be up near the front near the end of the season. You're right, you need the luck, especially in the playoff system. You need the luck to get there at the end. But hey, luck's part of racing as well. I'll take it. And I think, you know, over the likes of other guys like Aaron Smith, who's got 2 wins of the season, is not even here tonight, barely in the top 10 of the championship. And it's why you run the whole season. I said it earlier, and I mean it. I mean, it's a grind. It's a season grind. If you're here for it and you're dedicated for it, get some good finishes, it'll work out good for you.
You got quite a few other battles throughout the mid-pack that are still picking up. Looking at Corey Sherman as he's taking to the inside of Matthew Chastain. So that puts Sherman up, and whoa, boy! Sherman way up the racetrack, pulling the slider. Chastain back to the inside as they come off of turn number 4. Chastain's number 12 Mustang back on the hunt in the battle for 8th.
Again, we're kind of at that 3/4 way through the run here. Pit stops opening up here in about 10 laps for the guys that pitted early. I mean, it goes quick. It goes really quick. So tires aren't great. Depending on how you race the car, you may have burned up your right front, you may have burned up your right rear, you may have burned up both on the front, then you can't turn it off. They're all running fixed setups. It's all about how you run the car. Of course, every time you smack that wall on a turn 4 as well, it's gonna give you a little bit different handling characteristics as well. So you gotta be careful with that. But yeah, nice little battle here in the back of the pack. Larry Bell, Mar, Lukens, Osipek, all back here running a good race. I like to see it. We continue to click off laps, but look up front. Look at this. Thorpe Jr. and Ping side by side for P number 5.
Battle for the 5th place spot underway. Dustin Ping trying to cling to a top 5 after he exited pit road with the lead of this race. He has since dropped back 5.8 seconds for the leaders. Thorpe will put him outside of the top 5. Nick Dickerson still 2.2 seconds up on Benjamin Lacey. Lacey hasn't been able to close, but not nearly enough to close in by the time they get around to the next pit stop cycle. And just behind, this is all that battle for 7th. They're now starting to catch up to Brian Dees as well, who now heads up a battle for 7th of 5 cars.
Yeah, I mean, there's cars all around the racetrack now. You're starting to get a little lap traffic. Things starting to get in the way. That gap is slowly coming down between Nickerson and Lacey. To your point, Lacey has just, 1 lap newer tires, 1 lap longer on the run. It's not a huge difference. But the likes of Dustin Ping and Brian Dees down here in the kind of the 6th, 7th position, they're on the oldest tires. They'll be the first ones to pit. And again, strategies, you don't know what kind of strategy the racing gods are going to bring you here, right? But when there's no yellow flags, obviously staying out as late as you can seems to be the way to go. But if a yellow flag comes out, then the whole thing's nixed. But yeah, lots of good racing. I love that Skull car. My goodness, running the middle lane of the racetrack right there. It's so good. Down the back straightaway here, Tanner Marr, Robert Lukens into turn 3. Marr's going to run the middle lane now. He's going to take that away from Lukens behind. He's going to force Lukens on the bottom. Osipek might get a run. I think these guys, I mean, it looks like they're trying to be racy, but I don't think they're really racing. I think they're all kind of comfortable running their own pace. Maybe trying to get a little bit of more air on the nose of the car, so we're going to run some different lines. I mean, aero wash is a thing. Not as so much in these cars than other cars in the sim, but it does, especially when your tires are gone. You want some of that clean air on the front of your car. You get a little bit extra, front grip.
You know, this is one of those racetracks where it can be very, very difficult to come by caution sometimes, even on the iRacing service. I mean, when you're running solo, the track's got so much understeer bite to it that it's almost impossible to get loose out of these corners once you get up to speed. And when you're battling with other people, you can't really stay side by side for too long because one is going to understeer into the other. So it ends up with somebody backing off really early. So cautions, it's a difficult thing to come by sometimes. And obviously not counting the road courses, but if you look at all of the oval tracks where you could possibly get a caution-free race on the season, I think this track has the one that's got the strongest case for it.
Yeah, I mean, the most troublesome spot we've seen so far has been turn 4. I mean, I think you just saw it right there. I think Larry Bell in the 43 just smacked the wall out of turn 4. That's where the trouble's been. It's the only trouble with Cena 9. And usually trouble, I mean, turn 2 is also kind of a trouble spot, but the track's so wide back there that it's, it takes a lot to get all the way out to the wall. But right here in turn 4, look how close everybody gets to the wall on turn 4. You're in the gas early in turn 3, turn 4. If you hit it right, you keep it flat all the way through. You don't kind of burp it coming out of the corner. But, I mean, so far, these guys have put on a great show. Looks like the racing has been cleaned up quite a bit between the, fast repairs being gone. I know there's been some race, drivers briefings going on. The admin's doing a great job trying to clean this series up. We saw it. Remember back at, Daytona, some of the other tracks we had earlier this season, there were, 30, almost 40 cars in the grid. It was pretty wild, but it's been cleaned up quite a bit now. Good, hard racing. He's looking at Sam Bumgarden down here in P9. And he's running a clean race. Top 10 run right now. Just clicking off some laps. Coming up on halfway here. And I gotta do more math on the top of my head. Nolan saved me. What, 3 laps, 4 laps, something like that?
About 5 to 10 is my bet.
Okay.
Yeah, pit stops are around laps 35 to 40. So, yeah, we're going to see about 70 to 75 thereabouts. Oh, boy.
Yeah, they're getting close to that wall, man. Holy moly.
Brian Dees is struggling right now with that understeer, and he is really trying to fight to keep Corey Sherman behind him. It's a losing battle he's fighting, though. Sooner or later, that 19 car is going to get through. It's one of the very few racetracks where that bottom line is arguably one of the best lines throughout the entire duration of a race. But the problem is you can push out so aggressively from that inside as well that if you can really pinch them in from the high side, you can keep them behind you for a good long while. Exactly like we just saw there.
Right there. That's it. Yeah, that's exactly it right there. Dees just doesn't. I mean, Corey Sherman right now, by the way, having a good run. He's up 11 spots up there in the top 10, having a great run so far. But yeah, Brian Dees has the oldest tires on the track right now. He is just struggling to hang on. Coming up on his second pit stop. If he can stretch it out to about lap number, let's say 74, then he'll be on the same.
Careful! Contact! And they'll keep it off the wall.
Caught my breath there for a second too. That was kind of nervy there for a second, but they all gathered up and live on to race another day. But yeah, my point, if Dees can make it to lap 74 before he has to pit, that'll put him close back to the same cycle as the other guys, but he's still going to be a little bit early. But that's what you got to do. You got to try to stretch this second run out as long as you can.
Driving all the way through the high side of turn numbers 3 and 4. And that car on the inside, Matthew Chastain, is not having a good time of it. He has really started to lose a lot of time. I think he kind of got put out, and one car got to his outside, and that was able to slow him down. And now everybody just freight trained him from the high lane, except for Sam Baumgarten, who came under fire. And of course, Baumgarten just fighting his way back through this battle after he got into it a little bit there with Corey Sherman. Further down the field, you still got Lukens, you still got Marr side by side as well for spots down the field. We are past the halfway point now, by the way, so over 200 miles, over 100 miles down, and less than 100 to go.
Going by fast, man. No yellows. This thing is just flying by. It's good to see. Trying to keep up with the action up front here. I mean, Lacey's slowly reeling in Nickerson. I don't know if Nickerson's saving tires or Lacey's faster or what, but I think Lacey's slowly rolling him in. The thing is, he's bringing everybody with him. He's bringing Miklicek with him, Foster with him. Well, he's bringing Miklicek with him. Foster and them are running kind of their own race down below, but so I think either Nickerson's kind of slowing up a little bit, or by the way, battle here for P2. Look at this, side by side. Speaking of the Devils.
And Miklicek really trying to make a move here, and he's going to get around Benjamin Lacey for the number 2 spot. So in his rookie start, the Penguin RC Racecraft Academy 71 Camaro now up and into the number 2 spot after starting his race all the way back in 11th. So a solid drive for him so far. Third most spots gained on the day. The 2 drivers that have been beat right now, Nick Osapak, who was plus 10 but running all the way back in 16th. And, of course, Corey Sherman, plus 11. He is all the way back in 8th. Jason Greenwald, Connor Gibson into pit road. Here comes our second run of pit stops.
There it is, right on cue, lap 73. I think looks like Brian Dees is going to stretch it out a little bit. But, yeah, I made the comment on Miklicek earlier. He's about, burning his tires off, and he didn't. I mean, he's there. He's up front. He kept the spot. So, tip of the cap to him. Running it the way he should, keeping the tires on the car. And, yeah, so the rest of the guys here, I mean, I think we're going to go between now and lap 80, lap 81 for fuel. Again, you got to take another set of tires here, right? So you're putting on your 3rd set. Not really saving a whole lot for the end of the race, but you have to. I mean, there's no yellows here. You got to run what you got. This is going to be interesting during the end of this race when everybody's on old tires.
60 laps to go. Next time by at the line, Dees, Kilroe, Sherman are all in a bit of a battle. And remember, Kilroe and Dees are Team MFRD teammates. They might be looking to try to swap things around here and maybe try to see which one of those 2 is faster so the other one can try to help out the other. Cutting back in for 3 and 4, and still Dees holding the inside. Kilroe really not able to get around to the high side, and, well, Dees coming to pit road, so that's going to put a swift end to that battle as the 17 car is in.
Yeah, he went a lot longer than I thought he would right there. He went 42 laps, which is longer than our race leader went last stint. That's pretty impressive, actually, stretching the fuel that far. But, yeah, so everyone else now should be due in here the next 5 or 6 laps. Again, expecting a huge mix of everybody peeling off, different strategies. You want to stretch this run as long as you can. And, I mean, I think everybody's getting close, right? They got to be getting close here. I mean, Nickerson's still clicking off good laps, but look at the gap between him and P2. I mean, that gap is shrunk completely down here as Paul is just running him down quickly.
You look at the deltas on the last few laps. I mean, Nickerson's been running 32.7s the last 5 laps or so. Miklicek running 32.5s. He has been absolutely on fire, taking away the laps. He's got a lot of that long run pace, and Nickerson now under a serious threat here for the driver making his debut. Another 2/10 gain that time by. If he keeps that pace up, he's going to be up there in about 5 laps or so.
Yeah, Miklicek's right there. I mean, I don't even think he needs 5 laps. I think he needs like 1 lap. He's going to catch down into the back straightaway. Look at the run going off to the turn 3. He's going to look on the high side as Nickerson's going to cover the bottom. Nickerson may be pitting here. He pulled off really early. I don't think he was going for the block. Yeah, he's off the pace. He's going to dive into pit road. He's saying, I'm not having any of this battle. I'm going to go to pit road, get some fresh shoes. He'll come out, should come out ahead of Miklicek here, but still, great. I mean, the pit stops are open. Hopefully, yellows don't come out and screw this up. But man, this is great racing so far.
And the 71 leads the first laps of his ASRL career. Nick Nickerson is in the pit road. Ping's in the pit road. Mars on his way out. Bob Berry getting service done. Larry Bell and Robert Lukens are also in pit road right now. So a whole host of drivers having themselves with a pretty good time of things. Here comes Miklicek coming to pit road, as well as Benjamin Lacey and Kevin Foster are all down and into the pits.
Yeah, the one to watch is your new race leader, Michael Thorpe Jr. Of course, he was a race leader before the first round of pit stops. He's the one that went the latest. Along him and Kilroe both went the same distance, as well as Bumgarner and Shire. So the 4 of the top 5 there. Sherman's the only one that didn't. He went one lap earlier, and he's hanging with these guys up front. So I want to see who's going to stay out the longest here. My money's going to be on the likes of Thorpe Jr. I actually know Thorpe Jr.'s in the pits, right? Did I say that? He's going to dive off earlier than I expected. Sherman's in as well. That's going to give Kilrow, who won last week at Indianapolis, he's going to be your new race leader. Bumgardner, Shire, run up your top 3.
Ospeg is in, Keithley is in, Lakey is in. We are waiting on pretty much everybody now within the top 5, as John Osborne will pick up 5th after missing pit road. So, yeah, waiting on the top 5 to come down to pit road, and then we'll get this pit stop window officially behind us. Kevin Foster, Matthew Chastain, and Dustin Ping are right now looking a little tight. They're all out now on fresh tires as well. Still looking to be 4 in fuel for pretty much everybody in this field, unsurprisingly so after that first run.
Oh, that was almost a wreck coming off turn 4 right there. Right ahead, the 2 cars ahead going on. Oh, my goodness, that was close. But, yeah, a couple black flags to be aware of here. Lucan's got a black flag in pit road, and Larry Bell got a black flag in pit road. I'm assuming those are going to be speeding or entering the pits, closed pit, or, you know, offline, something like that. Lucan's coming in, serving his pit stop right now. I need to go back. I need to find this. This was super close to being an incident here between.
This is Lucan's.
Okay.
With Bell just in front. They both look like they made it down to pit road in time. Can't imagine what the penalty would have been for.
Lucas has retired from the race, so he's done.
I
wonder if it was a.
It was speeding. You're right. So that was just. I hate to say it, that's a bit clumsy if you get caught speeding in the middle of pit road like that. I mean, Iverson can be kind of generous with that, and usually when you get caught speeding, it's on the entry, and they both came in really conservative.
I don't know if race control can do it, Nolan, but if you're able to get a look at Bumgardner and Mikulicek, who was your race leader on lap 81 going into turn 1, that was almost a plane crash. They made contact going into turn 1. I saw it live on the corner view over here.
We're talking before they pitted?
This is after they pitted. This is after they pitted. Yep. So this is Mikulicek on lap 81 going through turns 1 and 2. Just got fresh tires. And he was going to go by Bumgarden.
Now that was, in fact, Bumgarden actually back into pit road. I don't think we're going to be able to find it. Oh, maybe. Oh boy.
No, that wasn't it. But yeah, it's right before this. It's before all of this.
Well, that was just 15 seconds after it came out of pit road. It came down the same lap.
I apologize. It was before pit road. It was the lap before he went into pit road. It was the lap after Mikulicek, Mikulicek pitted before Bumgarden pitted. But anyway, they almost got a big blow in turn 1 and 2. They actually made contact. Left front to right rear, and it almost was a huge crash. But anyway,
this was not coming onto pit road. This was the lap before.
This was the lap before for Bumgarden, and the lap after for Mikulicek.
We'll try, but I can't promise anything.
If not, if we don't find it, it's fine. But yeah, it was pretty close. So back up front, Nickerson. This may be, yeah. Keep it on this. Watch. There's Mikulicek coming in from behind, right? Watch this through 1 and 2. Mikulicek on the inside. Watch him swipe up.
Oh,
there. That was it was pretty spicy. He was there, car inside. They made contact, left front to right rear, and thankfully, because Mikulicek had the fresh tires on his car, that car did not go around right there. That was almost a huge accident for a race leader.
Jonathan Canfield comes down to the pits. He is towed to the pits, so he will be the last car that we're waiting on to come down to pit road. A lot of slicing and dicing on some of the lap traffic with the leaders trying to get through on some fresh rubber. And all of this with less than 50 laps to go.
Yeah, it's going quick, man. Nickerson back up front. Lacey back up there as well. Mikulicek up there as well. The likes of the folks like Thorpe Jr., though, not up there. The guys that we saw running up front early, Ping, not up there. I mean, they're in the top 10, but they're not up there near the front. I think they just got the pit strategy just wasn't I didn't see they had an incident on pit road, but I would have thought the likes of Thorpe Jr. would have been up there. But just not working out. I mean, of course, he's pitted later, but folks like Shire and Williams down there pitted 2 laps after he did. So it's, I don't know. Another third run of the race here. Let's see how it stretches out and see how we end up.
Still quite a ways to go as we continue to turn the laps on Green Flag TV. Green flag so far. We're back in a moment with the end of the race.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Green Flag TV. We have lost another as Tanner Marr has just taken a pit road and towed. And now the battle for the lead is on. Benjamin Lacey to the inside of Nick Nickerson, trying to gun for the top spot for the Real Earth Films Mustang up the inside of the big red propane Ford. And with 36 laps on the docket, it's too wide for the lead, with Mikulicek still just behind.
All three of these guys right on top of each other. This isn't a two-way battle for the lead. It's a three-way battle of the lead with Mikulicek right there as well. 3 cars, lap 100 of this race. No yellows. We've been green the whole way, and these 3 are looking right down the bumpers of each other for the race lead. Love to see it. And right now, Lacey's got the better of all 3 of them. He's going to hug that yellow line through 3 and 4. That may be the way to do it. Don't let him get underneath you. Don't let them squeeze you down as well. How low do you run? This is one of the cool things about this track. You can run, there's so many different lanes to run down the front straightaway. You can run high, run low. There's benefits and, you know, pros and cons to each. But I like how Mikulicek back here is running that middle lane, by the way. He's been doing that pretty consistently, getting that big run off the corner, getting that draft down the straightaway. He's going to be making a move here on Nickerson pretty soon if Nickerson ain't careful.
Looking for the high side, and that outside lane has had some speed when it comes to trying to go on the offensive.
There he is.
Looking to the bottom, and that should be easily a job done there for Mikulicek as he is going to fight his way into second. And Nickerson, a driver that was looking so prevalent at the front early on, started this race from pole. He is now back to third. Now the big question I think we have to ask ourselves, pit stops. Our last pit stop run came shy of lap 90. I think we have a splash and go left of us before this race is over.
Oh yeah, you got at least one more. You got at least one more, and yeah, I think you're right. It's going to be a splash. And this is one where maybe you think about taking 2 tires, or if it's you don't need a full tank of gas. So no tires, 2 tires. Do you save it for the? I mean, I don't know. This is where it gets really dicey. I don't know. You know, plan A, plan B, plan C. You're up in plan E or F at this point, because I don't think anybody was really honestly expecting the race to go green all the way through to the last pit stop. And as we speak, here we go. The 2 that pitted early on the last one are the first ones in this time. Greenwell, Gibson on pit road, lap 104. You can pit here, you can make it to the end of the race.
See, I like what they're doing here. They're making sure that if something goes awry in the pit stops, they have time throughout the rest of the race to try to correct that mistake. And they have the time to be able to fight their way back up through the field. I like this strategy. Connor Gibson going up on the jacks, and he's taking 4. They do have enough to go 4 tires and fuel on all the stops. If you're pitting now, go for 4. If you're going to wait until like 15 laps to go before you pit, I would say take 2.
Well, here, I mean, so yeah, I mean, but it's pros and cons. But here's the con, though. I think that's their last tire set. So if there is a late yellow and you got to come in for pit stops, you can't put 2 on. You can't do anything. You know how much faster those tires on. But again, if there's no yellows, why would you expect one with 2 to go? Maybe you got to play the race as the race has been dealt to you, and run what you got. You know, and there's at this stage, if I'm running this race, I'm running this last stint as long as I can for the shortest pit stop. Maybe just taking 2 tires, so I have 2 more in case I need them for a green-white checker. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't even know if you can do that. Can you do that with 4 tire sets? Is it burn a set to take 2 tires?
No, you will still have 1 set of left side tires for later on in the run.
Then that's what I'm doing. I'm taking 2 tires with however much fuel I need to get to the end, plus about, 10 laps or whatever. And then if a yellow comes out, you know what? I'm pitting again with 2 more tires. Michael Thorpe Jr. heading to pit road right now.
Along with Nick Nickerson. So Nickerson
like
bailing out with the top
fast.
spot. Boy, he came in hot.
That was super fast. He locked up all 4 coming in, right? Oh, so did Thorpe.
So these are 2 pretty heavy hitters here that are now down and into pit road.
And these pit stops are earlier than they need to be. These are planned pit stops.
Yes.
To undercut the rest of the field. This is a reaction to the pit strategy right now. I like it. I like this play. Do they take all 4? Let's see.
One of them is.
This Ping, right? No, I'm sorry. That's Nickerson. Who is that? That's Nickerson, right? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Oh, Thorpe taking 2. He only took right sides.
I like the play. Take 2, get back on track, run to the end, and have 2 more in the bank when you need them. I'm a fan. Let's do it.
So he's a lap down now, so if a caution does come out, he will have to stay out to keep himself from going to lap down. That's the tricky thing. He's really gambled on that because that's the other reason I think why it could be more beneficial to take 4. Because, yes, you'll have the 2 for later.
Oh.
But if you get a caution right now, you're not going to get back. You can't come down to pit road. You're going to be trapped a lap down. And then those left sides are scratch.
Yeah, you can't. I mean, but it hasn't been a caution all race. You can't. The odds are in your favor, I would guess. But now you got this weird problem on track. You got a handful of cars that have super fast tires. You got some guys that are slow. I mean, everybody's reacting to that. Look, pit stops have come alive. Mikulicek's in from P2. He's in to the pit road as well. So this is a reaction. This is all to cover off Thorpe Jr. and also Nickerson as well, right? Yeah, he was the other one. So, but now you got guys that are going 2 seconds faster a lap around the racetrack. It's pretty wild.
While pit stops cycle through, in the next few days on Green Flag TV, we will get set to set up the Final 4 for the MFRD Cup Series. Tomorrow night, they race at Iowa Speedway to see who will be fighting for the championship at Auto Club at 8:45 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow night. And then the Beer League back in action at Silverstone. Good old Silverstone. I think the first race we've called with the Beer League at Silverstone. No, there's been one in the past, but that'll be down to 9:20 p.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday night. The Speed Cup Series is off for Halloween on Thursday, so we'll be cutting in straight to the weekend with the SRI Mini Stock Series out at the Langley Raceway for 125 laps. And then, of course, ASRL also off. But don't worry, filling out the Sunday, it'll be the Indianapolis 500 pull day for the Classic IndyCar Series. It'll be a 4-hour qualifying session, 1 car at a time. But we'll be covering the back 2 hours. We'll be catching you up on what happened in the first 2 hours all throughout as well. But that's going to be a fun one. Our first Indy 500 qualifying day. And, of course, if there's enough, they'll have bump day just 1 week later. So the month of November about to come to life. Of course, our broadcast schedule has been posted in the community page for all of those that might be curious about what's going to be up, so you can mark those dates. Kevin Foster in a pit road, OSPEC in a pit road.
Yeah, Indy 500 is such a fun event. My goodness, the Indy cars running around that track, it is such a magical combo.
And the IRO 5s, just the old ones.
Oh, I love it. It's so cool to see that on the schedule. Wish that, obviously the best of luck to the events. That's going to be awesome to be a part of. But yeah, so I'm looking. So Brian Dees, by the way, who was our early pitter, has not pitted this time. He's going to run it as long as he can. I like the strat from Brian Dees as well. He's pitted early the first few times. Now he's going to run it as long as he can, trying to milk this out. Kilroe's up there as well, right behind him in P2. So you got strategies all over the place here. Now, they're going to have to pit, though. They can't make it to the end. So the first car that can make it to the end is Nick Nickerson, followed by Mikulicek down there, and Benjamin Lacey, and Michael Thorpe Jr. All 4 of these guys, top 4 we've been talking about all night, they're still there. Everything's still in play.
See, what Brian Dees is hoping here, while other drivers are gambling on the fact that a caution won't come out, so everything will cycle through, Dees and Kilroe are gambling that there will be a caution that's going to come out in the last 20 laps or so, because that would then allow them to cycle to the lead. They'll be on the freshest tires of the field, and they know that the ones that have pitted, they won't be able to come back down to pit road and get more fresh tires because they're going to be stuck a lap down. Exceptions, of course, to Nickerson through Thorpe, who managed to unlap themselves.
Yep, and the longer this goes, more people will unlap themselves, just like you're seeing right now. Right up the inside there, that's going to be Dustin. Who's that? I can't make the number out. Is that Foster? Okay, yeah. Foster unlapping himself right there. They're so much faster, and the longer this goes, the less it's going to be in their favor. You look at the 77. That's the real 77 of Amanda Sherman right there, making her last pit stop of the day.
And Dees is pitting.
There it is. From the race lead into pit road. Also, look, the top 4 coming in. All of them coming in at one time.
Save for Kilroe.
Shire's in. Williams in. Kilrow actually stayed out, I believe, right?
Yeah, he's still on the racetrack. Trying to go one longer, potentially.
Hey, you never know, man. That yellow come out right now. That'd be the way to do it. You could pull that off. But, yeah, it's time to come in if you're going to do it. 20 to go, splash of fuel. If you're someone like Kilrow, do you go for 2 at this point? I mean, you got to, right?
I would assume so, yeah. Taking 4 would not provide enough of a benefit that it'd be worth it.
I'm going to keep an eye on him to see what he's doing. I'm going to come here and watch him and see. But, yeah, this race is wide open. So all this should cycle Nickerson back to the lead. John Osborne's back up there after getting that early tow and back to his pit stall, but he's going to have to pit. He's going to drop down as well. But right now, your top 3 provisional on track after it all comes, you get settled through, is going to be Nickerson, Mikulicek, and Lacey.
So the only 2 cars that are on the lead lap right now that we're waiting on to pit is Kilroy and Osborne. Everybody else has been down to pit road.
Kilroy trying to stretch this thing out as long as he can. He's got 13 seconds to run. I don't know. I mean, he pitted on lap 83. We're working. What lap is this? This is lap. I'm looking lap 119 right now. So he's got. I mean, he's got about 3 or 4 more laps in the tank if he wants to stretch. He's just losing lap time though from the tires, but he's keeping it together. No intent. Looks like no intent coming in just yet.
Sam Baumgarten is into pit road. He, of course, was caught, I think, for speeding earlier in this race, and he's been just on the back foot ever since. John Osborne being overtaken and split by faster traffic in the form of Mikulicek and Benjamin Lacey.
It's like GT3 is getting overtaken by LMPs and GTPs going into the chicane at Daytona. It's a scary thing, but it works. As, yeah, they continue to go around. So right now, I mean, Kilroy's got 12 seconds. He's going to have to pit. He's still trying to, he's just rolling the dice, man. He's got his chips on the table. He's hoping the 7 doesn't come up. He's looking for anything else but a 7 at this point. But I think, I mean, you roll long enough, a 7's eventually going to come up on the board, you know?
Well, 7's a good thing. It's Snake Eyes you're looking out for.
I'm a craps player. I don't like 7. I usually play don't pass. So I'm one of these guys. I don't want to see a 7. Oh, there goes Osborne. He's coming in.
Hold on. Bob Berry really slow on the top side of the front straightaway. What's happened to the 75 car? He's got big problems.
What's going on here? He's keeping it off the track. No yellow.
That car's got no life under it. He's running with no power.
Single car incident, though. They won't throw a yellow for that, if I remember right.
Not if it's without help and off the racetrack. What the heck happened to Barry? I mean, that car's just died. Don't tell me he ran out of fuel. Don't tell me.
Still going. Well, Barry pitted on.
He ran out of fuel.
Yeah, he's out.
Oh my gosh.
Is that going to trigger a yellow? He's not going to make it around.
It will not trigger a yellow so long as he does not bring it back up onto the racetrack. He is on the apron. This isn't even technically an incident. I mean, now he's on the pit entry lanes. There's absolutely no reason for this to be a yellow. I say that, and we had the most. We're gonna watch my language, but I want to say the most cow manure of cautions that ruined a perfectly good race at HTRL last night. If you know, you know. Well, should not have been a caution, but it was for.
I mean, Kilroy's got to pit this lap. If he doesn't pit this lap, he has to pit. There he goes. He's driving by right now. He's not pitting.
No, he's not.
He's trying to stretch it out. I don't think he's going to get a yellow, though, because you're looking at Bob Berry making it to pit road. So that's just going to blow a hole in Kilroy's strategy right there. He's got. I mean, he's going to have to pit. He's working 41 laps now. That tank ain't built for that.
Is Barry going to make it all the way to his pit stall? That'd be awesome if he managed to claw his way on the apron, but you're not going very fast here on the apron.
Hey, it's downhill all the way around the track.
From the front straightaway, he was already slow at turn 4, and he managed to make it back to his stall. What a legend!
Yep. Kilroy's in. There you go. That's it. So Nickerson's going to inherit the lead, Lacey, and then Mikulicek. And to be fair, I mean, the top 3 are under a blanket right now with 10 laps to go. This is getting spicy, Nolan. For a green flag race, this is awesome.
Right now, the top 3 are all on fresh 4 Goodyears. Nickerson, though, is on the oldest by about 4 laps. Lacey to the outside and takes it.
Did he get the wall coming off turn 2?
May
that car
have.
just got lurched to the left side there coming off the corner like he caught the wall. Let's see, did he? Oh, he just had to get out of the gas.
He might have underfueled the car.
Well, I think he looked like he was washing up there, had to kind of get out of the gas a little bit, and that just caught the momentum and let Lacey come flying through. Mikulicek's up there as well. All 3 of these guys having a great night, to be fair. I mean, they'll be running up front all night. Any one of them can win this race. Now, here's the thing. Who put enough fuel in the car, right? They all pitted around the same time. If you look at it from a tire game, Nickerson there in P2 has got the oldest tires in this bunch by about 4 laps, which is significant. But yeah, I would say Lacey and Mikulicek all have about the same. You can see it there on the board. Pitted on lap 110, lap 109. I mean, I don't know. This is still anybody. I mean, the guy that's surprising is Michael Thorpe Jr. has caught. I mean, he's 6 seconds behind this bunch. He was 10 seconds after the last pit stop, but he's not going to
get there though. I mean, he's on 2
he's gonna
tires.
get there.
He's not on 4.
I mean, he was the guy I thought was going to win this race, but he must have slid through his pit stall or something. I don't understand how he's that far back. But in any case, yeah, this is going to be a spicy race to the end here. It's Lacey's race to lose. He's got the freshest tires of all 3 of these guys. He should have the most fuel in the tank. Can he get around the lap traffic and get to the end? Let's see.
Just behind him, you still got 3rd and 4th. Tucked up line astern as they work it off of turn number 4 to the front straightaway. Big Red Propane going up against Penguin RC Racecraft Academy. One of these drivers is a veteran. The other one making his debut this afternoon. Boy, what a special race would that be. Getting your first podium in your maiden start as well. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that for an outer.
No, it's a good way to make a good first impression, isn't it? I mean, it's a good way to do it. 6 laps to go. Benjamin Lacey is yet to get a win this season. He's got 1 top 5, 3 top 10s. He got his top 5 actually on the road course back at Charlotte on the Roval, but didn't have a good week last week at Indianapolis. Finished 27th there. Started 2nd, just wasn't able to bring it home. Look at that, it's 3 wide off turn 2. Oh, they're getting spicy out here, Nolan.
They're able to hang on for now. Nickerson side by side with Mikulicek. He's going to have to get out of the throttle as he washes up to the outside wall, and the 71 car is up to the number 2 spot. Benjamin Lacey, though, Lacey chasing his first win in 5 months. His last win came with back-to-back wins at the start of June at Talladega and Chicagoland when they were running the Gen 7 cars. He has not won a race since then. He has been winless for, count it, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We're talking a 15, 16 race losing streak for a driver that in season 2 had the most wins on the season. That's gotta sting. And you know for a fact he is really hoping to finally get back on top this afternoon.
Oh, of course. I mean, you want to get there. You want to get there right now. You got faster cars with newer tires wanting to get by you as well. I mean, right now he's got a 2nd on Mikulicek. He's got a whole 2nd on. I mean, this is your race to lose right now, Ben. Bring it to the end. Just hit your marks, bring it home, cross your fingers, dot your toes, whatever you got to do. No yellow flags. And I mean, to be fair, how about folks like Michael Thorpe? You remember Michael Thorpe Jr. only got 2 tires on that last pit stop. He is hanging with the lap times of the guy in the front with 4. That would have been in good intel about 30 laps ago for most of these guys. But he's doing great, running the wheels off that car. Yeah, this is Benjamin Lacey's race to lose right now, Nolan. 2 to go. First win of season 3 if he can get it.
He comes off of turn number 4, and it will be the first caution-free race in season number 3. the High Tide Race League MF Race Designs Premier Series. Benjamin Lacey, winless since June. 16 races where he has come up short ever since after taking 4 wins, the most of any driver in Season 2. And finally, he is able to come home off of turn number 4 and chuck one into the win column. Benjamin Lacey with his first win of the season at Kentucky.
What a run for Ben Lacey. Great finish for him. Clean run, well-managed race, able to bring it home in the end. Great run there from Mikulicek as well. Started P11 up to P2 at his debut. Second place, great job. Nick Nickerson up there. Michael Thorpe Jr. was able to salvage P4 there in the end. Kevin Foster, nice clean race up there in P5. Other big movers in this race, Sean Williams up 10 spots to P11 tonight. And Nick Osipek, by the way, started dead last, finished 13th. That's halfway through the field. Respectable run for Osipek. But Benjamin Lacey, first win of the season. Time to burn down that Ford. Filming the wild. What a cool, again, I love the paint schemes. Sorry, Nolan, I love the paint schemes of these cars. These are gorgeous.
He puts on a real smoke show this afternoon, as he's able to take home an absolutely stellar outing and completely losing that beautiful car and all the smoke that he throws up on the front straightaway. You can tell he's a happy, happy man about taking this one, and this time, no luck involved. This one all came down to strategy. Let's take a rundown then of your post-race results this afternoon from round number 7 at the Kentucky Speedway. Finishing this race on top, it's Benjamin Lacey alongside Paul Mikulicek for the number 2 spot. In his maiden start, Nick Nickerson finishes his race in 3rd. We'll talk to all of them in just a moment. Mike Thorpe Jr., after having such a bad run last week after what could have been a promising race at the Brickyard, he bounces back with a top 5 finish along with Kevin Foster. Justin Ping was in 6th, Brian D 7th, Dalton Kilrow in 8th, with Matthew Chastain and Scott Shire rounding out the top 10.
11th place is going to go to Sean Williams, Corey Sherman in 12th, Nick Osipek up there in 13th, Michael Keithley in 14th, Connor Gibson 15th, David Leakey down there in 16th, John Osborne 17th, Jason Greenwell 18th, Amanda Sherman in 19th, Michael Ashmore 20th, Sam Bubbagarden in 21st, Larry Bell 22nd, Jonathan Campfield 23rd, Bob Berry 24th, Tanner Marr 25th, and rounding out your 26 car field for round 7 at Kentucky, it's going to be Robert Lukens down there in 26th.
So all of that said and done, we can take a chance now to give a chit chat here to all the drivers that finished this race from the top steps of the podium. And we'll, of course, be looking to kick it off first and foremost with Benjamin Lacey, the man that's going to come home with a wild ride this afternoon, no doubt, for the Real Earth Films number 7 Ford Mustang for 785. Boy, it was a good run that he had here this afternoon, and a very well fought and a very rewarding win as well. Benjamin Lacey with his first win since June, able to come home with a great drive here this afternoon. Ben, this win has been a long time coming after a bit of a losing streak. Must feel good to finally be on top.
Yeah, it feels good to finally get back in the winner's circle. What a great race. Start to finish, green flag. Haven't had one of those in a while, especially the way the first couple races of the season went. So congrats to the whole drivers, all of them. Great race. It's fun to see some of the strategies play out, and we got in on the winning side, luckily. And Paul and Nick were keeping it pretty honest up front there. Paul was definitely fast. Haven't ever raced with him before, but he was keeping us up there, keeping us honest, and tried the undercut, and I was able to get lucky and get around him.
It's, of course, your first win of Season 3, and you made a big run to the championship back in Season 2. You take a look at how things have panned out for you so far. You were on the outside of the top 10 looking in with one missed race. Do you still have confidence, though, in your ability here to make the playoffs?
Yeah, complete finishing up top 10, I think consistently will do the trick. Sometimes consistency is a little better than getting the wins. I'd rather get probably 5 top 5s in a row than get a win and place 32nd or something. So this win is definitely some good momentum, and hopefully keep it going and drive on forward to the championship again.
Of course, it's not the race that we were expected to see. We were expected us to be out at Martinsville, but while that might be up in the air whether we'll be there later on in the season, one night that is confirmed is going to be Darlington to kick off November. How do you reckon the race is going to go for you at the track Too Tough to Tame?
That track's hit and miss for me. Sometimes I'm good there, sometimes I'm not. I think it just depends on maybe the car setup and the weather combination. I don't know. But I hoping I can maybe get a top 3 there, but, there's some fast drivers here. I know Nick is usually pretty fast at Darlington. I have a feeling, Thorpe will be up there running again, maybe even Paul. We have some other guys that can probably rip the wall with Darlington pretty well. So, I feel if I pull away with a top 5 there, that'll probably be a good night for me.
Well, we will wish you the best of luck when we go racing once again. Congratulations on taking the win this afternoon, the first since the summer, and hopefully the first of many as we work through the fall and into the winter.
Thank you.
Benjamin Lacey takes home his first win of the season. That will bring us on down to Paul Mikulicek making his maiden start this afternoon, and in doing so, takes his first podium as well. He is standing by with Chris Hannigan.
Paul, great finish tonight. P2, you started out in P11, and I'll be honest, in that first stint, the way you were running up through the field, I thought you were burning the tires off that car, and I was going to expect you to kind of drop back, but you never did. You got there, you hung there, you had a solid, respectable P2. Walk us through your night tonight.
Yeah, I just kind of drove the car and would try and turn the wheels wait, I can't remember the word. Hold on. As little as possible. There we go. That's the right word. Um, I had a different entry in the 3 and 4 than everybody else. I noticed I was very shallow and just like washed it up into the second lane, then got on it. Just trying to keep it as straight as possible and avoid sliding through the rubber.
No, that was solid. I mean, it worked out great. You got it. I mean, you had a nice P2 finish there at the end. I mean, you and Nickerson there at the end had a nice little battle with about 5 or 6 to go. A little lap car coming through with fresher tires, kind of playing in the mix. There was also a moment, I think, after the second or third pit stop where you had a little bit of contact with one of the lap cars coming out of pit road. It almost could have been an incident, but it wasn't. You both survived. I mean, a little bit of an excitement in a green flag race like this to keep you on your toes?
Nothing I'm not used to. Yeah, that situation was weird. Like he moved up entering 1 and then made the person behind him check up. Then I had to dive underneath Mash to avoid running over Mash. And then I just kind of just sent it in there and hoped for the best. Got in the back in the throttle and just went.
Thankfully, you still have the sticky tires on your car. It was able to keep it going in the right direction. But yeah, I mean, first race of the season for this league. What's your expectations for the rest of the season? Are you going to be around? We expect to see you more?
Yeah, I'm gonna be pretty spotty until December. I kind of have another league that runs simultaneously at the moment, but I didn't really want to race that league today. Road courses, don't worry about it. But yeah, I want to run top 10 most of the time. I feel like I'm more than capable able to do it in this league.
Well, that's outstanding. Anybody you want to say thanks to tonight?
Yeah, shout out Penguin RC, Racecraft Academy, Next Level Racing. Use code Racecraft at checkout, 10% off. Don't mind my plug. Yeah, that's about it. You guys for broadcasting and the series for letting me in.
All right, Paul. Great to see you. Nice job on the debut. P2 respectable. We'll see you next week.
See ya.
All right, now we're going to pass it over to Nick Nickerson, standing by with Nolan Rampel for P3.
It is, of course, the man that comes home with his first podium, and in fact, his first top 20 finish of the season. Nick, it's been a rough ride for you so far. 4 starts for you so far in the season. Make that now 5, and at all of them, you're either finishing laps down or you're not finishing at all. So to be able to break that streak and finally be able to take home a good finish this afternoon by finishing 3rd, it's got to feel good and a big boost in the points.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. Not really going for any championships. That's why it's easy to call it quits when I have a junked car or something. But yeah, man, it's nice to have actual decent finish. And man, I just, I kind of felt like I had no business being on the track tonight, man. I just 3 and 4, I just could not get down right, and I was just burning my tires up. But had a little bit of trouble there at the end with lap traffic. I don't know if I would have been able to hold off Ben, but it probably would have came down to the wire. Just I felt like a lot of the guys were coming out of the pits like in between us, and so they were passing me and putting me in these like crappy positions. But so I lost like a good chunk of time just from that. But all in all, man, I'd say it was a good race.
you're able to take home a very solid drive here this afternoon. And I think when we take a look at how this championship as a whole could go down, it's very different to the 2 seasons past. Of course, the Gen 7 is its own beast, and the Gen 4 was just an absolute monster that you tried to make a championship bid with. But we come down to the B-Class cars. Big time-wise with the championship, how do you think things might shake up from seasons past?
You know, it's hard to say because so far it seems like the fixed setups on these things are kind of a little wild. It seems a little bit tight on this track, but like some tracks, like, well, actually almost every track it's really tight because the splitter is bouncing off the ground. It wasn't so bad on this race, but I don't know, man. I mean, you know, it's fixed setup racing. Everybody's got to deal with the same problems. It's just it was nice with the Gen 4s where you can get the car to get a little bit loose when you need it to coming out of the corners. You can't do that with this car. So if you're tight and you don't know how to change your line to fix that, then you're kind of screwed. But other than that, man, I mean, we'll just have to see what kind of setups we get from iRacing.
You mentioned that you're not looking to run for a championship this season like you were last time out. If you're running the part-time schedule, where are we going to see you out next?
Well, I think I'm actually going to be out of town the next couple weeks. We'll see if maybe I can just kind of get home just for the race and, you know, go back. It's only a couple hours away from where I live, but hopefully next week. If not, it's definitely 3 weeks from now.
All right. Well, we'll wish you the best of luck then when we return once again, whenever that may be. But always great to see you out on the racetrack trying those strategies, and no doubt it'll be a good show when you show up once again.
And I'll try to finish that race too.
Well, you finished this one, so it is doable.
Yeah. All right, man. Appreciate it.
Nick Nickerson comes home with the number 3 spot here this afternoon. And, well, Chris, that's going to do it. First caution-free race of the season. And what I mentioned, I think, around lap 50 or so, if there's ever going to be a race where you're going to go caution-free, it's going to be at Kentucky. Darlington, though, is next week. I don't think we can say the same with confidence.
Yeah, I mean, you called it, right? This is it. And it was a great race. Honestly, the strategy played out, worked out great. You kind of made perfect pit stops all night. Darlington, you know, the thing about Darlington is you have a lot of room on the inside. You can get some cars spinning down, but with manual race control here, I'm sure they'll throw the yellow if even if iRacing does not. I'm looking forward to it. I love Darlington. It's a great driver's track. It's where you basically you can forget all the other cars on the racetrack. Everybody's out there trying to run the best lap they can against the Lady in Black. I'm here for it. I can't wait to see it. And this was a great race tonight. Good job, Hot Tod Racing League.
Of course, it's not the end of racing action this week. There's still a lot more coming up, including a big-time championship race tomorrow night with the MFRD Cup Series. They eliminate 4, they'll leave 4, as we'll leave Iowa and swing out to Auto Club. And, of course, tomorrow night sets the stage for the season finale. It's another hop across the pond to the historic grounds of Silverstone for the Beer League, and then it is, of course, the SRA Mini Stock Series, going to some short track heritage racing at Langley Speedway, a track with so much rich history underneath it. And then, of course, it's qualifying day for one of the most coveted events in all of motorsports, the Indianapolis 500. Pole day will be live at 4:15 p.m. Eastern Time on Sunday afternoon. For now, though, that's all the time we're going to have for one day on Green Flag TV. My name is Will Ramble alongside Chris Hannigan. If you like what you saw here today, you want to find out more about what we can offer you, check us out today at www.greenflagtv.com. We'll see you next week in South Carolina.